I'm sure people are probably sick and tired of hearing this, but at what point do you think the Stafford concerns become like legitimately real? Because it seems like, again, every week, hey, he's fine. If he had to play week 1 or if he had to play tomorrow, if it was a playoff game or whatever, he's going to go. But the more this carries on and we have questions about it, like it seems like something is definitely going on here, and he's not getting any younger, and a back isn't exactly a good thing for a quarterback. Like, if you had to put this on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned would you actually be with Stafford's back injury?
Right now, I'm a as one, like I don't have concern.
Oh wow!
What?
If you told me,
wow,
I don't. I don't. From what I know, this is not a functional thing or a capability thing. It's just a pain management, pain tolerance thing. I think that everybody knows he's like the toughest person on the planet type of thing. So that's not something that gives me cause for concern. Now, if it gets to next week, because I think the perspective in D-Butt, you would know this well too, is, dude, that season and that one game they added makes this season so long. I know it's only one game, but it makes it so long. And this is one of those teams that's probably the handful that they don't think they could play into late January. They expect to play into late January. Mm-hmm. And so, trying to keep that long-term vision of we want him as healthy as possible in December and January. So now if he doesn't practice by next week, yes, my concern level would go up. But right now, I'm not overly concerned with it.
That's why, from the outside looking in, that's why I'm so concerned, because of who Stafford is, and you spent time around him, as a teammate. But I just know
there
these
are
type
things
of
that Dan has seen that probably these
franchise quarterbacks, I know it's a long season, but they don't like missing reps.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about a pain tolerance or a pain threshold, that's Andrew Luck, for instance, he was one of the toughest guys I ever played with. So when he started missing time and it was like, oh, he'll be back, but okay, it's an ankle, it's a calf. That was early on, it was concerned. Every day, every full practice he missed, it became more and more of a concern. Yeah. I have that same feeling with Matt. I know he's not a spring chicken, but these reps are valuable, especially with getting new weapons in there. Every year it's a new team, but you got Devonta Adams. You want to get on the same page with that. So I'm concerned, especially when he's going to practice this day and then he doesn't. Saturday workout, then it's kind of murky. I'm concerned until he gets out there, and hopefully it's a bunch of nothing. But I'm concerned about Dahn because he has been.
We also don't know who is the end-all, be-all, and why he's not practicing. Is this Stafford going, I can't practice today? Is this them going, hey, there's no need for you to practice?
Yeah.
Who's the person? Because I do agree with your point of these guys want to be out there, and he's one of those people that loves being out there. But we don't know if it's him saying no. We don't know if it's Sean. We don't know if it's the doctors. We don't know the person that's making the final determination of saying, okay, you're not going on the field today type of thing. And so that I agree with that point. I'm just not overly concerned right now. Maybe, I'm jaded with my.
Are you not
overly
concerned because you saw Stetson raising hell out there this weekend?
Certainly hell.
Hey, let me interrupt for a second. We have, I don't know if this is breaking news or not, but the Rams have just posted a little video. Matthew Stafford is now back at practice.
Okay.
So, Dan, good job.
I'm down to a 1.
I'm a 1 as well. And there is right there. That's great work right there. That looks like a relaxed, chill dude who's going to have a nice casual day at practice.
I've lost all worry.
And the Rams have been sort of providing updates on this, and it's been interesting to hear because it's he's going to throw. He threw a lot, then didn't practice that week, and then wouldn't really say if he was going to throw Saturday. And my understanding of this was we just want to get some improvement, just a little bit of improvement, and then he can get back out there. Now he is back out there, so that is, if you're a Rams fan, or I don't know, let's just say someone who you're good friends with Matthew Stafford, this is a very, very good sign right now that he is walking back to practice.
Yeah, I think D-Butt, you grew up in the organization, but I remember our time in Indy, and he much greater player than I was there type of thing. But like, I remember when Peyton and them were in their heyday, how they approached the offseason was directly correlated individually wise to how many snaps that person played in the previous season. So like, if you were a guy that played X amount of snaps, you were allowed organizational mandate to start your offseason training at a certain date. And then if you played 150 snaps more, you started your offseason work X amount of days later. And if you played X amount of snaps more, and so they kept pushing it because their whole philosophy was they were a team that fully believed that they were going to be playing 18, 19, 20 games. And so they wanted your offseason to start later because they knew your season was going to start later and then in turn go into the next season. So I just think it's an organization that has this mindset of where they are. They know that this year is an all-in year. They know that, and they know they can win the whole thing. And so they could ruin January by doing too much in August. Yeah. And you can't really ruin anything else by starting late.
That's a great call. And really, we have seen teams treat this thing differently with the 17 game because they have so much time. And like, I was there for Cowboys-Rams joint practice. The Rams defense should be, it feels like to me, comically good. So this is a very, very good team. Matthew Stafford practiced today. He was on the practice field. You can see him now looking good, throwing some deep balls to Devonta and Puka. You're watching this now. You've obviously seen that Stafford is on the practice field. You've been following along like all of us. What do you think when you see this right here in front of you?
Well, number one, yesterday was Sunday, so God answered a lot of prayers for Rams. That's the first damn thing that comes to my mind. But this is a great sign because, Friday I was concerned that Matthew Stafford, well, more than concerned, I was alarmed that he hadn't practiced up until that point. And when you have two receivers like Devonta Adams and also Puka Nacua, and for a guy like Matthew Stafford, does he need those reps? 1,000%? No, but you would love for him to get reps with the number 1A and 1B receiver that he does have, because I picked the Los Angeles Rams to have the number one seed in the NFC as a conference this season. When you look at their schedule, everyone talks about the 49ers and their schedule, how easy it is. Well, San Fran only played 4 games against teams that made the playoffs last year. The Rams only played 5 games versus teams who made the playoffs last season. So this is a team I felt like gotten better since last year. And if it wasn't for, Jalen Carter dismantling an offensive lineman, we might be talk about a different story within the Philadelphia Eagles going and winning the Super Bowl last year. So I really like the Rams and where they are right now as a football team. But the catalyst to it all has to be Matthew Stafford at the quarterback position, who can still make every single throw on the field.
Yeah, and it really feels like the conversation. Like now that we'll see tomorrow if Stafford. We'll hear from McVay. We'll get his schedule and see kind of like how hard they're going to, push the button on him, basically. But just him being on the field, for me, feels like the conversation has now changed. Like, you see him, he's functional, he throws. Like, I think the Rams are going to be really, really, really good. And now that he is at least back practicing, that can sort of kick off and keep us going in that direction.
But Ian, let me say this, though.
Oh, yes.
Here's the catcher, though.
Go ahead.
It's a good sign that he's out there practicing and he's throwing, but it's also imperative that he doesn't have setbacks, right? That's the big thing when it comes to a back injury.
Right. That's a good call. McVay talked to reporters after practice.
Okay.
Gave an update on Matthew Stafford, and as far as I could tell from the internet, he said things went good.
Okay.
Which, I don't really, of all the things he could say, it's just like it went well.
He's not going to say if things went bad either.
He would say, yeah, you're right. That's probably true. The only thing that matters to me is, like, does he get back out there tomorrow? Is he able to continue? And, like, the weird thing is, like, you talk to all these people, you talk to McVay, you talk to all the and they're like, we love Jimmy Garoppolo. We got a lot of confidence in Garoppolo. And, like, the reason Jimmy signed is because they think he can compete, and he goes and he's going to want to be a starter next year. So if he plays, he could sort of reinvent his career, and that would be awesome, and it'd be great, and everyone in the world hopes that does not happen.
My big thing with him is just like week 1, if he's out there and he gets blindsided and gets sacked, like, is his back going to be able to hold up?
Yeah.
It's like your back when you're that age, like, that's not something that's going to he's not going to wake up and it's just going to feel better. Like, that is increasingly probably going to feel worse over the course of an NFL season.
Yeah, that's why, like, even him practicing today, like, who cares? What are we talking about? He should go every other day, every third day, damn near.
Or like whatever.
Until next, I guess the day after the last preseason game. Like, it really does not matter. And maybe it's just kind of hitting me now again, but you forget how little this stuff matters for the Staffords of the world. Now, like, for everybody else, is the most important time of their lives. But like, when you're Matt Stafford and you've been in the league forever and you've already won a Super Bowl, it's like it's August 18th.
But
you definitely need to throw. Yeah, you need to throw. He's never played with Devonta.
Your body get through. Like,
you got to
feel.
I agree. It be football condition, and it's not only him. It's the guys, the other 10 guys in the huddle. Yeah. You get to use, hearing his cadence and the voice and the play calls and the shift, especially in that offense. I mean, outside looking in, it's a lot of moving parts. You saw we had Pook going, and he was, I think, running into one of his linemen or some shit in the backfield. So all of those things definitely matter. And to Ty's point, if you're managing it at this point where, hey, you got to go every other day, like, it's not getting shorter with an 18-week regular season in the NFL. So we hope, like Harry said, there are no setbacks, and he is, a guy can go out there and be somewhat healthy. We know Matt, if he can walk and throw the ball, he's going to play football. So hopefully, it seems like they're being cautious right now, which is good. To your point, it is August 18th. November 18th, we'll look back on this, and hopefully he's, they're in a good spot because they are a damn good football team right now on paper.
Keep thinking about you guys talking about, like, Stafford, like, he's got to get his, connection with Devonta. And, like, this is so – my life is weird, as we discussed with the shower thing and many, many other things. So I broke the Devonta to the Rams news. I was extremely happy. Thanks. It was a great moment. I didn't have the picture ready, so I had to just tweet the words and then add the picture later, which I hate. Whatever.
Do it.
So you just post whatever the agent sends you, right?
I cannot comment on who sent me the news. But then you go out to the joint practice, and I have to, like, remind myself, like, oh, Devonta.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that, like, of all the preseason things, it's like, wait, this guy's on this team? And, like,
with McVay?
So like, chatted with McVay beforehand, and he was like, Devonta is, like, he is.
Yeah.
Like,
so good at football.
Yeah. I mean, I think that will be that will be a fun one to keep track of.
All those guys on the Jets, they really do just get an immediate bad rap. Like, it's not even funny, and not that Devonta needs to prove himself at all, but I do feel like because of last year, there is this thought that, like, oh, so what? Devontae's on the Rams. It's like people do forget how dominant he is when he has a quarterback that can throw it just near him.
Well, and he was a guy who, like, every year was not only, a top 3 receiver in the NFL, like, going to the playoffs. Like, he's been on shitty teams for the last, like, 4 or 5 years of his career. Like that.
Those Raiders clips of him
my God.
in the Netflix show, I was like, I was feeling for him.
Well, that's why people are talking about, like, the Rams. Like, oh, the Rams really like Jimmy G. Well, guess who doesn't? Devonta. And everyone's going back to those, clips saying stuff like that. But, like, the Rams, the Vikings fall into the category of Kevin O'Connell's there, so we have faith in him. And it's almost like we forget with the Rams that McVay is also one of those guys just because he's got Stafford.